Okay then, end of a few hours work again on the V70 D5 2004 engine change. Today was all about making a start on the drive shafts and also disconnecting. In the manual it said clutch cables and gear selection cables and automatic transmission. I couldn't find anything like that. The only cable I could find is this one, which I'm assuming is the gear selection cable. That was fairly easy to remove. Probably the most difficult thing we've removed today was the guard, the aluminium guard, which goes over the back of the manifold, the exhaust manifold and the turbo there. That was a pain to get down to. You couldn't use a socket set, so it was all manual hand pump. So that was a bit of a pain. Also managed to get off the alternator, which was in here. That was fairly easy to remove. Undid the last of the wiring loom, which is now all bunched up down here, and I'm pretty confident that I've got everything disconnected that needs to be disconnected from the wiring loom. I can trace it basically from here all the way out, and all the loose ends down there, so I'm fairly confident there. Also underneath the I forgot the name now. Anyway, was the AC compressor. That's been unscrewed and is now hanging from the front panel there by a couple of cable ties. I'm under the understanding that stays in the car according to the manual when we lift the engine out. So that's all free there. So that was pretty good. Fairly confident with that. Also, as I was reaching down to undo the aluminium cover from the top of the manifold there, I didn't want to damage the injectors. So as you can see, I've removed the injectors. And if we come over to the garage where the engine that's going to go in, I won't say new engine anymore because there's nothing new about it, but hopefully this one's going to run. I've loosely fitted the injectors in there, not permanently put them in as yet, because I want to change the copper washers on the bottom, give it all a good clean up, give the ports a good clean up, and then fit them properly from that side. Well, not properly, because I'm not going to use a new kit. I'm going to tweak it so we can do the best of a bad job. And looking at that thermostat there, I have got one that I bought for another car. I'm probably going to change that as well, because that one looks a little bit ropey. But anyway, back to the task in hand. Yeah, so taking off the bits and pieces, that's all pretty good. Happy with that. Happy with the wiring loom and the various connections to the transmission. The other key area is obviously the drive shafts. The manual saying, I saw a few bits on YouTube saying probably the easiest way was to remove your brakes, your caliper, your disc, so on and so forth. However, I needed to have a good check of the shock absorbers anyway. I had new brakes on recently. These have done less than 3,000 mile discs and pads. I know they don't look like it, but the car's been sat on my driveway out of service for a year. But I think once we get up and running again, they'll be fine. So I decided to take out the shocker to have a good inspection of those. And actually, once you remove the retaining nut from the drive shaft and the intermediate holder, it came out pretty easy, nice in a wanna. I've only done the left hand side now. I'm going to leave the shocker off. I've suspended the brake disc, as you can see, using a jury rig, as we would say. I haven't done the right hand side yet. That's a task for tomorrow. Hopefully that will be simple. And again, I'm going to take out the shock absorber just so I can do an inspection from that side. So everything's still going well. As you can see in the garage, we've got a shock absorber down there and a right-hand drive shaft, which has been the main product of today. So plans next time I work on it will be obviously right-hand shock absorber and right-hand left-hand shock absorber and left-hand drive shaft, which will need to come out of here. There are a couple of fuel lines, fuel in, fuel out, which are down here somewhere in a rough location of the drive shaft. They need to be disconnected. And then the big job, the job that I'm not really looking forward to, is somehow getting in there to disconnect the turbo from the engine. I'm not sure whether the turbo comes out with the engine or whether the turbo stays in situ, but we'll have to do some thinking about that and a bit more research. So again, another good day, no showstoppers, so far so good.